Hi everyone. We are here at the Japanese Garden at Washington Park Arboretum in Seattle this month of October. A little bit of color, as you can see. And these banners behind me symbolize the 60th anniversary of the opening of the Japanese Garden. It opened here in 1960. So let's celebrate and go take a walk. So as we enter into the Japanese garden, we see a mixture of maples and mixed evergreens. There's a ground cover of moss which evokes the scenes of ancient Japanese forests. Plants traditionally used in Japan, like pines and camellias, and there's some bamboo right there as a low ground cover, are in harmony with plants from the Northwest. And we see dry stream beds flowing through open woodlands. And a Katsuga-style lantern is found at the entrance to Shinto shrines. Beautiful Japanese maple there. And over here on the left-hand side, we see this carpet of moss, which is so soft looking, and when you touch it, it's also very soft. It's kind of damp, but you can barely feel it when you touch it. Some of the moss looks a little bit like ferns, doesn't it? And there are some fallen maple leaves that they have left on the ground. And there we start to see some color through the trees. And here's a lovely stone pathway that leads to a bench for contemplation. Even the rocks are beautiful the way they're placed. And here is one of my favorite trees. It's a type of maple, and it may be a river maple or paper bark maple, I can't remember, but it's got this beautiful rich coppery color, and the bark peels away. I think they call that exfoliating. And it's not diseased, it's nothing bad's happening to it, it's just the way it grows and sheds its outer bark. A nice cedar tree there behind. And you can see the Japanese lantern there. Let's go check that out. And while you can hear some traffic in the background, you can also hear the lovely sound of water. And this Japanese garden is full of some beautiful water elements. This is a little trickling stream coming down from what you might consider a mountain if we were in the wild. So here's that beautiful Japanese lantern. And apparently in a Japanese garden they mark the divergence of two pathways. That pathway's actually closed off, so we will go this way. And there's a continuation of that little stream. Here we have a dogwood that produces these beautiful red fruits. There they are. This is one of my very favorite trees of all time. This is a ginkgo tree. I'll see if I can find some leaves from the ginkgo that have fallen to the ground. So here are some ginkgo leaves. You see how they are sort of in the shape of a fan? And you can see their veins are all vertical. So beautiful. And they turn a bright yellow color. I guess we're still just a little bit early. This one's kind of curled up. Yeah, it's just starting to turn yellow. So pretty. This is a prehistoric tree, meaning that ginkgos were in existence around the time of the dinosaurs. And they know that because they have found fossils of the leaves in trees. And here we have a very delicate, like a thread leaf, maybe that's what it's called, a thread leaf Japanese maple. Here's another one of those gorgeous ginkgos. Way up, you can see the tips of another ginkgo. They almost meet each other. The sun has come out, which makes everything even more brilliant here. We'll continue on our path, and now we have come to the pond. Look at the way they have shaped this mugo pine tree. It almost looks like little puffs of clouds, doesn't it? And this one as well. So you can see in the pond, they've created a little peninsula or an island. And then you can see the lantern at the one end, I think, which is supposed to be a beacon. In nature, it would be a beacon for people or boats in a lake or ocean. Okay, so I'm going to read from the little self-guided pamphlet that you can get at the Japanese garden. And it says, "The pond's cloudy green waters reflect the land and sky." You can sort of see the reflections there in the background. The earthen bridge and a plank bridge span it. And in season, visitors stand on the bridges and they have a moon viewing ceremony, full moon. And you can also feed the koi fish. A rocky cape with a lantern projects into the pond. Wind-blown pines and iris beds line its shore. The pond's water lilies are beautiful flowers emerging from the mud below. Let's see if we can. I see a lily there. Let's see if I can get a close-up. There's a water lily. It's a little far away. Maybe we'll see some closer up. And the pines on Turtle Island represent Japanese cranes. Like turtles, cranes symbolize longevity. Now you see these flags up ahead. This is the Japanese garden's 60th anniversary. This Japanese garden was formed and opened in 1960. And it still looks just as beautiful as ever. And here's one of the older gates to the garden. What a lovely stone vase. Not sure what it's for. Maybe there was a fountain there once. Here are some more of these pine trees that have been pruned. And not only pruned to give you the effect of clouds and to show you the beautiful underside of the branches, but also they've been bent and pulled and shaped by these cords. You see they're anchored to the ground, and then they go up and are attached to the branches. And I believe what they're doing is to pull those branches down so they're more horizontal, and then they give you this effect of a horizontally branched tree. A lot of work goes into this garden. And here, ooh, look at this tree. Wow, aren't those beautiful pink fruits? And right next to it is an Andromeda, a Pieris. Everything's just starting to turn color. We aren't having a spectacular fall this fall in Seattle, but still beautiful, isn't it? It's another one of those thread leaf maples. So delicate. Let's go check out this beautiful willow. See how this willow wants to reach out over the pond. And it looks like it reached so far that they had to prop it up. Ah, now you can see the reflections in the pond. There's Turtle Island. And now we're looking up into the inside of this willow tree. The paths are always winding with curves, so that it's always a mystery on what's around the other side, around the corner. So here we can go either way. The path goes this way to the right and comes to a wooden bridge, or we can go to the left, which I think is more intriguing, and come to this really interesting stone walkway over a river leading under the bridge. And look at the size of this koi fish. Let's see if I can walk over the stones without falling in. Wow. Those are big fellas. Apparently they're well fed. So we are standing underneath a Wisteria Arbor. So there's one of the wisteria plants, and you can see how its bark is all twisted and tangled. And it wraps around this post. And in the springtime, it gets these beautiful lavender purple flowers that hang down. And there's the other trunk. Wow, that is a massive trunk. This must be very old. So there in the distance is what they consider the port. So if this was an actual large lake or pond, it emulates the port, and the pathways are larger and more formal. We'll head over there. There's more koi. Giant goldfish, I guess, are what koi are. Look at, you can see the reflections of the clouds in the water. I see just the back of a koi fish moving under the water, under the surface there. There's another lovely Japanese lantern. I suppose you would have a candle that would be inserted in there. And as it lights up, it would shine through those holes. Here we go again, another divergent pathway. This one goes up to the mountain, what they consider the mountain. This one goes to the port. Let's go to the mountain. Some more lovely moss. And there's a plant with some beautiful red berries. We're going to be going into some sunshine here. Ferns and moss. Beautiful camellia bush. And so here is what is considered the top of the mountain. And there you can see a Japanese lantern, which was, it's called the Kobe lantern, and it was a gift from the citizens of Kobe, Japan, one of Seattle's sister cities. And so everything slopes downhill from here. All the way down to the lake or the pond. Beautiful vista of all kinds of colors. And there you can see the reflections in the water. We'll go on down to the pond again. We are walking along the other side of the pond. There's a beautiful euonymus or burning bush. Gorgeous dark red color with these beautiful, brilliant red berries. And behind This is what they call the orchard. And these are all cherry trees. And you can come here in the spring when the cherry blossoms are in bloom. These tall cypresses in the background. Let's walk to the bridge. There are those brilliant ginkgo trees in the background. There's another burning bush. And now you can really see the reflection of the colors in the water. It's almost like a watercolor. And there are those koi fish. I think they must get fed from this bridge because they are coming up. They must see my shadow. Yeah, he's got his mouth open. Wow. Hello there, fish. Hello there. How do you like those whiskers? I guess that's how you can tell it's a catfish. Oh. And there comes another one. Oh my goodness, they're all coming now. There's a big guy. He's got his fall colors on. Here come a couple more. These guys must be really related to carp, right? Catfish, carp, koi. Aren't they all sort of in the same family? They've gone under the bridge. Let's see if they're on the other side. There's a couple. And now you can see Turtle Island from this side. Ooh, and there's a turtle. Let's see if I can focus, zoom in on him. He's looking right at the lantern. He's always waiting for a message or something. Now this bridge, as you can see, has some sharp right angles to it. So the idea being that you are walking along and maybe you've got some, sinister spirits or some kind of bad karma following you. So you take a sharp turn to the right and then you take another sharp turn to the left and you've left all those troublesome things that are following you behind. Perhaps they have fallen into the lake. Here's another viewing platform. By the way, these paths and bridges and platforms are all ADA compliant. In other words, a walker, a wheelchair, oh, and there's somebody right there with a walker, can access this park or this garden. So it's really a beautiful place to come and contemplate. You can sit right here, stop right here and pause, and there's plenty of space for multiple chairs or people or walkers. And just take in the beauty and the calm. It's so peaceful here. So over on this side are irises that line the banks. That would be pretty to see in the springtime. And here we have another mountain to climb. And when I say mountain, as you can see, it's just a symbolic mountain. It's actually very easy to walk up. And look at the garden of the tea house. Wow, some beautiful mosses in there. Let's go check out the entrance to it. This is the entrance to the tea house, but as you can tell, it's closed off here. See, there's a gate, and it's closed right now. But when it opens, you can sign up and participate in a tea ceremony. It's high on this hill in the garden, and it overlooks the lake beyond these trees. Very calm and serene place to be. So we're climbing the mountain, and I can hear a stream, a waterfall in the background. Let's see what we can find. I love these simple fences made of bamboo. You see, they just took bamboo, tied some rope around it, and voila, you've got a fence. I see some rhododendrons in here, like this one. That must be a little pretty in the springtime when it's in bloom. So here's the source of the sound of that water. A little waterfall that starts way up there and rushes down through these rocks, and it goes under the pathway. It comes out the other side. All the way down to the other pathway. And here's some more of that beautiful moss. It's so soft. And ferns. So in addition to traditional Japanese plants that are in here, there is also a mixture of Northwest native plants. And so here we have some salal, and next to it is a western sword fern. Let's see what else we can find that's native. I see some very tall Douglas fir trees. There's one right there. So it's a nice combination of both Japanese and Pacific Northwest plants. And of course, we've got a lot of moss here in the Pacific Northwest. Wow. Look at that. A forest of mushrooms. They almost look unreal. Now these, I believe, are Amanita mushrooms. And so they are quite poisonous. You don't ever want to touch, or maybe touch, but don't taste. Because, yeah, they're pretty toxic. But aren't they gorgeous? Looks like some animals have taken some nibbles out of them, so I guess they're okay for animals. There's almost a very perfect one right there. Beautiful red color. So fortunately, they're not hard to mistake for anything that's actually edible. Yeah, beautiful, but not edible. That was a fun surprise to see those. And here we are at the end of the road. One last look at some of these Japanese maples. And the colors. And even the wonderful bamboo that they have used to make fences. Exit.